in that last example, like I mentioned, we ended up getting two complex roots. And the way you can always tell, like I said, if roots are going to be complex is in terms of the b squared minus 4ac term, which is called the discriminant. And think of the discriminant as being like the word that it shares a lot of its roots with, discriminate. If you discriminate against someone or something, then you are making a decision about it based on perhaps incomplete or early evidence. Where for the discriminant, we are going to be able to make decisions about what our quadratic's roots will be like without going to the trouble of actually finding them. Because if our discriminant is positive, what that means is in the quadratic formula, that square root term will end up having two values in there that are both positive the square root will have a positive number inside of it. If the square root has a positive number inside of it, we'll end up with two real unique roots. Meanwhile, if that value, b squared minus 4ac, is equal to 0, then that whole square root term basically goes away, and all we're going to be left with is the negative b over 2a part. And if we have that, we just get one, as it said, repeated real root. And then finally, if the value in the discriminant is negative, like in the last case, that means you're going to have i's to chase around, so we will have two complex roots. So, for a quick example of this kind of mathematical discrimination, we can think back to one of those problems we did earlier in that first case, in that first example we had, where for that, b was negative 10, a was 3, and c was 8. So we would have negative 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times 8, which would end up being 100 minus 96, or 4. And as a result, that would imply that we should expect to get two two unique real roots, which, look back at that one, we did get. And the very last thing we're going to look at here, because we've done a lot of number chasing, now let's actually see those numbers in the context of something with a bit more reality. So we'll get some applications to finish the section with.